To the money desk now, Devan Murugan is with us. Now, Devan, our focus remains on the country's job crisis. Staggering figures released yesterday. Are we actually asking the right questions?
Indeed, I mean, that's the main focus. More than 12 million people are out of work. Most of these young people, 3.5 million young people between the ages of 15 and 24, paralyzed in their job search. These were reflected time and time again, and once again yesterday when those figures were released by Stats SA. Now, these group of youngsters, 15 to 24, not in education, not in employment, and not in any form of training. It's 3.5 million of these youngsters in that particular bracket. And Bernstein is the executive director for the Center of Development and Enterprise. She joins us now. And good afternoon. The last time we spoke, you said putting energies into entrepreneurship programs, urging companies to hire more, going into hard-hit communities and putting up projects won't remedy chronic youth unemployment. Why aren't these approaches effective?
Devan, the real issue South Africa faces is a structural one, and we have to do two fundamental things. We have to take the bold actions to get investment increased in the country and much faster growth. And then we have to make changes to our labor laws, not wholesale, but carefully calibrated changes in order to build a much more labor-intensive economy. Until we do that, it's impossible to deal with a vast scale of unemployment. And it's really important to appreciate we're not dealing with 1 million or 2 million unemployed people. We're dealing with an enormous number of our workforce. The people in employment today, about 2 million less than there were before COVID. So this is a massive structural problem, and it doesn't require small initiatives. We need to get more and more and more firms growing in South Africa and starting up and succeeding in order to mop up the unemployment as fast as possible.
Because, Anne, you've said before as well that if you want to create jobs, the level of skill is important here, isn't it? Because the scale of lower skilled jobs are just not available to absorb that bracket of people because those job opportunities are not there. So it really is what opportunities are put forward to the people that suffer from this very drastic crisis bracket that we have.
Well, there's no one single bullet. That's important to understand. We've got to stop thinking as though we have a highly skilled workforce. Unfortunately, we don't. South Africa has failed over the last 40, 50 years to build a skilled workforce. And we should be doing far more to make sure that we don't fail over the next 10, 20, 30 years. So there's a lot to do on that front. But we have to create jobs for the people we have. And most of those people are inexperienced. They come out of a very bad education system. They don't have skills. We've got to get them into employment as quickly as possible. So we need to be looking at all the opportunities for low-skilled employment. Tourism is one area, and the government needs to both get much more directed in this, stop making bad decisions, and open up the country as fast as possible to tourists so we can start driving that. But the other is low-skill manufacturing. This is how many other countries have created opportunities for millions of people. And we insist on not doing this. And we have proposed a way of doing this as an experiment, a policy reform zone in the Eastern Cape, around the Kruger development zone. And we need to experiment and see if South Africa can attract people who will set up factories for low-skill activities to create jobs through clothing, through assembling toys, through all sorts of things that other countries have done, and we're not doing this in any concerted way. It's a massive failure in our view.
And before I let you go, I've got just a few seconds left. I mean, the investment conference last week, any faith in those big numbers we saw there changing the fortunes of young people?
Well, a lot of those announcements have been made before. Some of them are projects that are already taking place. Some of them are loans. They're not investments. So I'm not in favor of these big summits, whether job summits or investment summits, really. I'm in favor of the country taking some big, bold decisions much faster than we are, and putting people in place and processes in place to have world-class ports. That means we have to go for competition. We need much better logistics in the country, and we need to deal with crime. We need to deal with the security of the environment in which investors will be risking their money. And thus far, we're making no progress in that area. And I think that holds back investment a lot more than people acknowledge.
Yeah, well, thanks very much indeed for that. Anne Bernstein is the Executive Director of the Centre for Development and Enterprise. All right, just a quick look at those indicators. We're pretty much flat on the all share this